Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for ICONversations. The ICON program is designed to celebrate our company's top producers. These agents have not only exceeded capping status, but have also reached exceptional milestones, earning them back various stock grants and the opportunity to earn back their paid company dollar. From Alabama, we have Kelly Cummings. From British Columbia, we have Zybel Sang. From Alberta, we have Sean Getty. From Maryland, we have Daniel Toth. And joining us later today will be Blake Arseneau from Texas. Our moderator today is Daniel Toth. Daniel, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to be pulling double duty. I want to moderate this bad boy for everybody, then also try to answer the questions myself. But let's get it kicked off with Thomas. Thomas, how long have you been with EXP? Where are you from? And of course, how many times have we had that glorious icon status?
Yep, great to be here. Yes, I am Thomas Cummings, but I go by Kelly. But I'll answer to anything. I've been a licensed agent for 21 years, and I owned my own brokerage for a long time. And I guess when the NAR stuff kind of came to play, I felt that being an independent small brokerage, I needed the backup help of a bigger company. So I started looking around, was introduced to EXP, loved the model. And I have been an EXP agent now for 2 years. I'm a two-time icon. And I'm heavily involved into the REO world. And that is what has helped me gain that distinguished spot in EXP's world to be an icon agent. So the first year I iconed in about 4 months. This year I iconed in 4.5 months. So it is just the most phenomenal thing, and the support that you get from EXP is just unbelievable.
Absolutely. It's an incredible job. Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Saiba, same question for you. How long have you been with the company? How many times have we iconed? And then obviously how long have we been in real estate?
Sure. I've been licensed for just over a decade, so 10 years. I moved to EXP about 5 years ago. So I'm from BC, in Canada. I've been with EXP for 5 years, and this is my second time to hit icon this year.
Awesome. Congrats, man. Like I said, I'm gonna do the double duty. So I've been in real estate now just under 8 years. I'm in Maryland. I service both Maryland and Pennsylvania. I'm a one-time iconer, working on my second now, and it's been phenomenal. I've been at the company now just a little over a year and a half. Amazing opportunities. It was for me coming from a franchise ownership and still relatively new to the real estate world. I always felt like that big fish in a little pond. And when you open yourself up to a major company like EXP, you realize the growth that you still have yet to do. I felt like I knew it all, and then I came to find out there was a lot more to learn. God bless. Going right into it. So Kelly, what are you seeing in your local market right now? What are other agents across the country doing, and what should we be paying attention to?
Well, I will tell you again. A lot of folks don't like doing the REOs, but I started doing them back in about 2007, and I worked for 12 different companies. But I can tell you that I was on a mastermind call yesterday for 2 hours with some pretty heavy hitters with the NRBA program, who I'm a member of. And what they're telling us is across the country, the foreclosure notices and the delinquency rates are up big time. And how this is stemming from is, it's, believe it or not, because it is a process. A lot of this is coming from COVID. This is all of the fluffed inventory, the people that didn't make their payments, that thought they had a forbearance. But what they're seeing across the country is the foreclosure and the delinquency rates have really gone up. They're thinking that it won't be as bad as '09, but it's going to be pretty ugly, and it's going to start pretty heavy in Q4. What we're seeing here in the Mobile area, or the Mobile, Alabama area, is our industry growth is tremendous. We have Austell, USA, building military combatant ships for the Navy. We have Airbus, who's building airplanes for many countries. I think they've got a contract for 300 right now. They just signed a contract. So that's huge. So our growth here in Alabama has been pretty strong, and our real estate market is strong. I was president of the Mobile Area Association of Realtors in 2017, and I'm saying this just for a reason to give you some statistics. I think everybody across the country in the last couple of years has experienced an inventory issue. But when I was president in 16, we had approximately 5,400 houses in the MLS for sale. Today, we have 1,100. During the COVID era, we had dropped down to about 750 houses. So we have about 1,800 agents licensed in our city. And that's just not a lot of inventory for 1,800 agents to sell. So we did see a slight decrease of agents over a couple of year period just because there wasn't anything for them to sell. But the tremendous growth all over the country, tremendous growth in our area, and it's only going to get better. I do believe that the interest rates are going to come down a little bit here soon. I think that our government is working on that diligently, and that will help. But it's just an exciting time to be in the real estate business. I can guarantee you that.
100% agree, Kelly. I mean, I think we all were expecting that big foreclosure boom after the COVID market ended, and it never really came because of the whole forbearances and people having payments delayed. But it sounds like it's time for all of us to get out there and start talking to people. Like,
That's
hey,
right. That's
it's
right.
not
Short sales, guys. Looking for your short sales. There's a lot of opportunity for money to be made on short sales.
Absolutely. Hey, Sean, so you just jumped up on stage. We'll go back to question intros. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with the company, how long you've been in real estate, where you're operating out of, and how many times you iconed.
Okay. Sean Getty, operating out of Calgary, Alberta in Canada. 6 years in real estate, 6 years with EXP, 6-time icon. 3 first years were solo. Did 44 deals my first year, 103 deals my second year, 186 deals in my third year, and then I started a team, which is super difficult. Kind of like fumbled that for a few times. Last year as a team, we did a little bit better. We did about 180 million in volume for 320 deals. This year we should finish just over 500 deals and somewhere close to 300 million. And that's my background.
Sean, that's amazing. There's not a person in this audience, hopefully watching on YouTube or sitting out in the audience now, that's not impressed by those numbers. You've done a phenomenal job, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
So Sibo, is it Sibo? Am I pronouncing that right?
Sibo.
Sibo, my apologies.
Yes.
So Sibo, same question back to from Kelly. You know, what are you seeing in your local market? What are agents across the country should we be focused on, and what are we paying attention to?
For sure. I'm in Canada, so the situation here is this year comparing to the last couple of years, so we're down quite a bit. Especially, I'm in the Greater Vancouver area, which is one of the area. There's mainly 2 areas hit the most in Canada. One is in Greater Vancouver area, another one is Greater Toronto area. So I'm in the Vancouver area because of the price point and all that. We're down about around 15% a year. So the same months versus last year. The good news is I have seen the difference is getting narrower. So in June, the market was only down about 10% from the previous months, and now in July we're pretty much catching up. Probably, hopefully, August it will be a better month than August last year. So at least we see some early signs for the market recovery, and hopefully the interest rate going down will help with the overall situation as well.
Absolutely, I think we're all ready for rates to start dropping a little bit. That'd be amazing.
Definitely.
A little bit about my area. So like I said, I focused primarily in the state of Maryland. I live in Northern Maryland, so I also have a fair amount of business in the Southern Pennsylvania. To kind of set the stage for us is, the DMV area. That's the Maryland, DC, Virginia, kind of outskirts of Pennsylvania and Delaware. We're really heavily supported by federal government influence. Obviously, with that proximity to DC, the massive military presence throughout the state of Maryland. You almost see a recession-proof market here in Maryland. That doesn't mean that we haven't noticed a slowdown. It doesn't mean that inventory hasn't dipped and now on the rise just with slow buyers for some reason. I think the question I posed to all of the agents out there is, why a year ago do we have 7% interest rates and have no problem selling houses, but this year we've got 6.5% and doesn't seem to want to move? So it's always interesting. Things that are popping in our market, though, is we're starting to, again, see that inventory coming back. I heard in another conversation a deal or a diamond. That's how you get your listing to move. So I throw that out there for everybody else. I'm like, if you're pricing a listing, it needs to be that diamond that everyone's looking for, or it needs to be a deal. That's if you want to get off the market quickly. If you're okay if it's sitting for a little while, you're going to be there somewhere in the middle. So my food for thought. Next question up is for Kelly. We'll start that back with you. What's one discipline or habit you've stuck to, even when results weren't showing up yet, that you now realize made all the difference in your success?
One word: consistency.
Love it.
You know, you might have a month that you close 3 to 5, maybe more, I would hope. And then 1 month you might not have anything, but you've got to keep feeding the pipeline. You've got to stay in touch with your sphere. You've got to continue to just be consistent. That would be the number one thing that I would suggest.
Absolutely. Sean, what about you? What's that one thing?
I try not to be fluffy when I get asked these questions, so like a little bit more tactical advice. But when I started the business, it was 2019 in Calgary. And if you can imagine, for the American people listening, we're an oil and gas based economy. And it's like Texas turning off the oil is essentially what happened to us. So we were in like the worst possible drought in the economy you could imagine. The average days on market was about 3 years. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. You would look at a listing and it would be on market, off market, on market, off market for literally 3 years until it finally sold for like 30 to 50% less than what they wanted, right? So people lost their down payment completely. They lost their equity completely. And a lot of people had to cash out their life savings and investments just to make up the negative equity to sell their house just to rent. So it was an extremely difficult market. So like I can appreciate what everybody's going through right now and all the other markets that are down. Even us, like our market is down right now, not like that, but it is. So a couple tactical things that you can do. That was the question, right, about sellers?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So the two biggest things that you need to do is how you set expectations properly. So you set expectations around the market is the one that decides, not the realtor. Because if you sit there and pump your chest and say like, oh, I'm going to do this and that and my marketing and whatever, and it doesn't happen, then that does fall on your shoulders. So instead of changing it that your results are based on you, what I tell people is the attention is based on us. So my job is to get as much attention as possible to the listing, as many views, as many showings, and as many offers as possible. But ultimately, the market will decide. And then we give them 3 categories of things that'll happen, and we call it this, then that. So if this happens, then we have to do that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So if we get no showings at all, we know that we're 10% or more away on the listing price. So if you put the thing up and you go for the weekend and not a single showing comes in, you know you're 10% or more away. So you're going to be asking for a 10% reduction or more. If you get low amount of showings but no offers, that means you're somewhere between 5 and 10% away on your price. So we're going to be looking for somewhere between a 5 to 10% price adjustment. And then if we are getting offers, then we know that you're roughly in the price range based on what the offers are telling us. Does that make sense? So,
Love it.
Yeah, so we switched to, I'm not going to get you a deal. I'm going to get you a ton of attention on the property. And based on what the market tells us, from the amount of showings we get in offers, this is how we adjust on Monday. So that's the first one. And then the second one is we do very, very, very detailed seller updates every Monday and every Friday. And this is 100% mandatory. And I'll give you a quick example. So our team, we were getting up to about 80 active listings, which if anybody runs a team, that's not good. You don't want that much inventory sitting in your books. And I was wondering, I'm like, what the heck happened here? Like, why are we sitting on so much dead inventory? And I started questioning all the agents that had listings, and none of them were selling seller updates. And I'm like, guys, this isn't our training. This isn't our manual. This isn't our standards. I'm like, what's going on here, right? And then so we did some retraining and restructure on the accountability on that. And then they started setting the Monday and Friday updates, and we got back down into the 20s and 30s for active listings, which is where we want to be. So those updates, what they compile of is a brand new CMA every Monday and every Friday with everything that's active, pending, terminated, and sold for the last few days. And then you take all the showing feedback, and you got to make sure you call every single agent. So I'll give you one super quick example, then I'll move on. But we had one deal where the feedback from the agent was not interested, right? Like, beautiful home, not interested. So I called the agent and I said, hey, thanks for showing the house. How's things? How's life? How's your business? How's whatever? And then I got into it like, okay, well, what was it about the house that they didn't like? Or you can structure it as, what would it take to make this house a 10, right? And the realtor came back to me and she goes, oh, they just thought that the heating bill was going to be too high. And I'm like, oh, really? Why is that? And she goes, oh, well, it has 2 furnaces, so that means double the heating bill. I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, do you know how HVAC systems work and how 2 furnaces actually work? And she's like, not really. I just figured there's 2, so it's going to be double the bill. So I explained to her how HVACs work and how it's actually going to be cheaper by having 2 furnaces. And then they gave us a full price offer right after that. So you got to make sure you call every single agent and find out why they didn't buy, regardless of what the feedback is. And then you take that feedback and add that into your Monday and Friday update. And then if you go more than 2 weeks on market, you have to call every single sold that happened in those 2 weeks, because that's when you were live. They could have bought your house instead of that one. And you call the buyer's agent and you find out why they bought that house instead of yours, regardless if they showed it or not. And then you take all that information and you compile it and you put it to the sellers. And then they're able to make a very informed decision with a ton of market data that they need to drop the price. And you should be actively dropping the price every Monday and every Friday if it's not sold. That's it.
Gold bars, guys. That is, Sean's up here dropping gold bars out. For anyone who's running teams or any agents that's struggling to figure out why stuff ain't moving, Sean just answered your questions. So that's huge. Siba, same question for you. I can repeat it if you need.
For sure. And so the discipline or habit, I think, is consistency. So I'm going to break down the pipeline a little bit further. So what I look at, I don't care about the deals, how many I close per month, because that's the outcome. I only look at the income, the input, right? So what I look at is I break down the pipeline to who's writing, how many buyers I have in my pipeline are writing, and how many are looking in my car looking, and how many are I'm just talking, or I just met briefly, or how many people are having good conversation but I haven't met in person. So I put all my buyers into those 4 groups, and that's what I watch every day. And what I'm thinking is, how do I provide value to move them along the pipeline? If I do well, provide enough value, have a good engaged conversation, find out what they want, and then I can move them from just talking by meeting them to take them into my car to go out shop, and then the next step is to write offers. So that's the one thing I focus every day, and I think that's the most important I feel to work with buyers.
Absolutely, love it. So the one thing that I think that I've found in my business, that one habit that sticks with me, is never being out of touch with what's going on in the market, and I'm actually referring to more about reaching out to the lenders that I know, reaching out to the title companies I know, the inspection companies I know. It's one thing for us to, as real estate professionals, to look at, hey, what buyer needs a house? What listing? What do we need to do with a listing to sell the house? I'm always curious about what's changing in the other parts of our market. What lenders are offering what new plans? What title companies are offering different services? Who's not charging for settlement things? It's that extra information that when you're in front of your client, that realtor who comes in before you or after you doesn't know or doesn't have access to. The one thing that in a market that we're faced with right now, where it feels like the amount of deals have gone down, is lenders are competing. So they've gone back to the drawing board. They're trying to think of new ways to attract business. And the answer is that helps your client. So knowing what's going on, and we all have our favorite lenders, right? We all have them supporting our business in different ways. But you've got to be able to bring those ideas then to your lender and say, hey, ABC lending is doing this. Can we try that? Because I think we can get more buyers under contract if we had this program. So that's kind of my thing. I never turn a phone call down. I always answer the phone and, hey, it's ABC lending. I want 15 minutes. You get 15 minutes. It may not be that day, but you're always going to get that 15 minutes. So with that, the second and last quick thing, pick up the phone. There's a realtor on the other side trying to talk to you. Pick up the phone.
And set up your voicemail. Drives me crazy when you try to call an agent and you can't leave them a voicemail.
Absolutely. So pick up your phone and make sure your voicemail's empty so you can can leave one. Awesome. I love it, guys. Any last tidbits before we move on? All right, cool. Kelly, we're going to come back to you. Tell me about one moment in your business that you felt stuck, uninspired, or burnt out, and what you did to break through.
Ooh, man. I'm going to have to think about that one for a second. That's 21 years worth of stuff. Probably burned out in 2009. I sold 182 foreclosures that year. Ooh. And when you're talking about managing, and I've got about 60 in my portfolio right now. I sold 94 last year. I've sold 71 this year. But 182 was a lot because that's 182 power bills, gas bills, water bills, grass cuts every 15 days, weekly asset inspections, and they want time-stamped photographs of these properties. And I'm not talking just sit in your car and take a pretty picture of the front. They want you to get out, open the door, walk in, and make sure that the pipes aren't burst, the appliances aren't stolen, vagrants aren't living in the house. So it's with that many, I probably would have been my most burned out year in real estate. And how I overcame it was, and I wish I'd been with EXP at that time, was, the money was good. But, I just kept getting up every day and doing it. And I worked through it. And it's just something that you've got, real estate agents every day wake up unemployed. And you got to put your pants on one leg at a time and go to work. And I just kept telling myself, it's going to get better. We're not going to have this many next year. Enjoy it while they're here. But it was, and I have a small team that helps. My son is a licensed agent. My wife is out right now doing 8 asset inspections for me since I'm on this call and I couldn't get out. She's a realtor as well. So, surround yourself with the proper people and the tools. Have a plan. There's a lot of programs out there, but how I got out of it was just, you just got to think positive every day. And things are going to get better, and it did. And I got out of it. I got out of my funk, and moved on, and still doing it. So probably that would be it. Yeah.
Absolutely, Sean. What about you? I mean, you've been on a rocket ship for 6 years, but any burnout?
I wouldn't call it burnout, but I do know where burnout comes from, and I truly believe that burnout doesn't come from working too hard. It comes from not going forward. It's a big difference. Like when you're working hard and you're putting deals together and your bank account is starting to stack, you feel great, right? So, absolutely. Yeah. So when I see somebody, quote unquote, burning out, I just know that they're not living inside their core competencies. And that's a big thing that I think a lot of us don't do or understand early enough. So you guys have all probably heard of like the red light, yellow light, green light, right? So take all the things that you love to do, write that down where green is. Take all the things that you moderately love to do, put that at yellow, and take the things that you absolutely hate and despise and put that down as red. And then if you could find a way to either outsource or partner up or avoid the red things, you'll be living in your green and your yellow. And then once you start getting a little bit more income and you have a little bit more cash, you can outsource the yellow stuff as well. And then when you're just living in the green, you're going all the time and you don't burn out. So for me, for example, like I can go, 15, 16, 17 hours a day for months at a time, as long as I'm doing the things that I love doing. But as soon as you sit down and you put paperwork in front of me, my battery goes to zero. And the other way I kind of relate that to is like, if you're thinking about your cell phone, if any of you guys live in cold climates, if you take that phone and you're outside, the battery lasts like half hour and it's zero, right? But if you're living inside your core competencies, it's like your battery's plugged into the wall. So that's how I avoid burnout.
Love it.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great. Siba, what about yourself?
Yeah, the burnout moment I can think of, the most closest one is from COVID. So I remember that I was sitting at home from March to May, like basically no deal closed, and all my buyers they paused, and my listings are off the market. I'm glad that I was working with my coach at the time, Jason Samard from Nanaimo in my province. So which Jason got me to do is just see, but watch your activity. Just be consistent. So what I did during that time for 3 months, I'm making 30 calls every day, no matter what. So also Jason told me that if that scares you, the headline scares you, just stop watching the news, right? So I know that I watched too many news at the beginning, and then I slow down, only catch up to what I need to know, and then just watch my activity. Doesn't worry about the outcome. And then after 3 months, everything is kind of back to normal, and I closed most of the deals in 1 month. I think it's still my record of them for 1 month so far from that time. Yeah, so that's my burnout moment and what I learned from it.
Absolutely, it's great. I get it, man. My burnout moment, my adversity, my wow moment, that probably came back in 23. I was coming up on the end of my franchise ownership, but I was coming off of a year where we were trying to rapidly expand, and it was recruiting call after recruiting call after recruiting call, still trying to balance business. Much like Sean said, I was probably running in the green, yellow, and red all the time because I didn't have an opportunity not to. It was placed on my shoulders to grow my business and the business itself. So it just felt like it didn't matter what I did. I was working all day, but I don't necessarily say I was being productive all day, every day. And that's where it was kind of that aha moment when the opportunity arose to no longer be with that company and make a change. Man, I jumped in feet first. And last year was all the fruit of all that labor finally came to fruition, and had the best year of my career. So, no, I get it, guys. It was that's awesome. So lastly here, or next one we got, Sean, we'll start with you on this one. How do you balance the pressure of production and your personal life, both with family, mental health, trying to set boundaries, things like that? Because you mentioned you run 15, 16, 17 hours as long as you're running in the green. But what about life outside of real estate?
For sure. As you can probably tell, I'm not a very balanced person.
Okay.
So, one of the biggest things, like this is one thing that I preach to my people every spring, for example. There's seasons of work and there's seasons of rest. And if you have the conversation with your family ahead of time, it's usually really, really, really good. If you try to have that conversation while things are happening, it's usually more negative and difficult. So if you know that you're going into a busy season, so let's say spring, or let's say you could feel your pipeline is starting to fill up and you know you're going to have a run of buyers or whatever it might be. So my wife, for example, I just tell her, I'm like, hey, like this is going on with the team right now, and I need to be putting in these type of hours. I'm going to be on the phone pretty much every dinner. I'm going to be walking out of movies to answer calls. I'm going to be on my phone or my computer pretty much every time we're together. But it's only going to be for the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 months, whatever it might be. And then we'll go back to normal. So if you can tell them ahead of time, then they can cope with that and they're prepared. But if all of a sudden you just start leaving dinners and you just start leaving stuff, they seem to get annoyed. So one thing is setting that expectations beforehand as you feel your pipeline filling up or you know you're moving to a spring market. type thing. And then the other one is just being just very clear and honest with who you are and what your goals are. So like my wife knows, like I start work at 4 a.m. every day, and I just work for a couple hours on the computer, and then we go to the gym together. That's our time, no phones or nothing. And then I come back home, we have breakfast, and then I leave for work, and I'm at the office 9:30, and I usually get home somewhere between 7 and 9 p.m. And we just have 1 hour together, and then that's kind of like our week. But the weekends, because I don't have customers anymore, our weekends are just for us. And then we try to go on like a vacation at least once a month or twice a month, which I know sounds a lot, but it's where we're at this stage of life, which is kind of nice. So does that make sense? Does that help?
Never stop dating your spouse. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
So gotta love it. So Kelly, what about yourself?
I work, I'm in the office every day at 7, sometimes a little earlier, sometimes just a few minutes after. And I work until about 5:30 or 6. I've been married for 40 years. My wife's a realtor, so she understands. I've actually shown property on Thanksgiving's Day. This guy calls me up. He was in town, saw a house, wants to see it. I said, dude, it's Thanksgiving. I got, 40 people, 40 family members coming to my house. I'm cooking a turkey. He goes, I won't keep you long. Okay. So I looked at my wife and said, you mind if I break away for 30 minutes, go show a house? Maybe I'll make a sale. And so I went and sold it or showed it. I didn't sell it, but it's, you got to balance. I do like to spend Sunday afternoons with my grandchildren swimming, and we go play a little golf every now and then. But my wife definitely understands my business. When we go on vacation, the laptop goes with me. It doesn't stop. Real estate's not a 9-to-5 job. It's 24/7, 365. And I'll tell her, look, before we get up to go do whatever we're going to do, I need 30, 45 minutes on the computer. So even if I have to get up 30 or 45 minutes earlier to appease the time frame of what we're fixing to do, that's what I have to do. And that's what I will do. But, you got to have some downtime. You definitely have to have some me time to recharge the batteries. That's usually my Sunday afternoon. That's you got to have a good support system. If you don't have that, it's going to be you're going to have a very tough time. So if your family members don't understand what you do, and the time commitment that it's going to take, then you're going to have a problem, I think. But most spouses, I know mine is very, very understanding and love her for it. So
there you go. Now, support system and time blocking. Absolutely. Sibo, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's communication. So I never had any balance all up to 2022, 7 years in my business. And then I start to realize that this is a problem. I work with my wife and start communicate more. And my wife started cooking better meals. And we go out for a walk every day. So now the real change happened since 2023. So both of me and my wife lost 20 pounds since then. And we were much healthier. And since that time, I started building a team. I was solo agent for 7 years. And then starting from 2023, I have an amazing partner working with me. And now we're training the third one this year. So now as everything is getting better, and I have all because before I was just always chasing for the next deal, always talking to clients. But since 2023, and things are getting much better. And now I have team members we cover each other when someone has a very important life event, and we'll just tell the group, we'll have a group chat, and then everybody else will just jump in and cover each other, right? So now we have the really enjoy the balance and have a better life at the same time. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, to piggyback on both Kelly and Sibo, for me and my family life, it's to understand my business mindset in business is understanding what I have back at home. So time blocking is huge because I'm in a household of 5 children, and those ages are from age 5 to age 14. So yes, to answer the questions, you can be a top producer and still have young ones at home. Yes, you have to leverage daycares. Yes, you have to leverage schools. You have to leverage your spouse or your partner. Those are all things, and those support systems are needed to be in place. But if you're time blocking properly, if you keep both life and work organized, you can be very successful in this business by doing that. With that being said, in 2021, 2022, during a hot market, I me and my spouse weren't together. We were barely even dating at that time. So you have your single life, you embrace it, you run those 16, 17 hours, you get a phone call at 7:00 at night for a 7:45 show, and then you can drop what you're doing and go. Those are fun times. But on the same token, now that life takes over, and when you get that point of we need a framework, or this is just going to be all work and no play, it has to be involved. My Google Calendar has 17 different colors on it, and almost every minute is accounted for. So like once this is over, I've got an hour and a half of time with my kids because it's summertime. So they need to see me during the day before the afternoon, where I'm probably going to go do some showings. Going back to Kelly on Sunday afternoon, that's a good time to be shutting down because I'm a huge football fan. So 1 o'clock kickoff hits, I'm in front of the TV. I shut down work for 2 hours. There you go. Well, Commanders for me, but
there you go. Good deal.
So, next question. Let's see here. What do you do to refocus and show up every day, especially on days when you don't feel like making calls, showing homes, or doing the follow-up? So, Sean, I know you hit on a lot of that, but if you want to kind of reinforce some of it, we'll start with you.
Sure. It doesn't matter how you feel, to be honest with you.
I love it.
It's just kind of the work needs doing, right? So one thing that's worked for me, again, myself and then just with the guys that train, 2 parts. Make your schedule the night before, and then that way you can hit the day running in the morning. And the way that we time block is we actually make our schedule of like the things that need to happen and the times it needs to happen. And then on the side of the page, we write down the things that just need to happen at any time during the day. So anytime that you have some free time, you just hit those things that are like, can be filled in at any point. And then when you're running your schedule and you're doing the things that you're supposed to do, if you just grab a cheap day timer, like $10-15 from Amazon, and you allot yourself an amount of time that thing should do. So for example, like you don't have to make calls for an hour. You could just say, I need to make 20 calls today or whatever it might be, right? And you're like, I could probably do that inside 20 minutes or a half hour. And then you just set the timer for a half hour. And then you go from there. Like one example of this is we had one guy that I was harassing him to clean up his database for like almost 3 months. And he's like, I don't have time. Finally grabbed a hold of him, like, how much time is it going to take you to clean your database? And he's like, well, I could probably clean it up in 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, set the timer for 45 minutes, put your phone in another room, turn it off, and like just sit on the computer and let's work on your database for 45 minutes. He came out of the office in 17 minutes. He's like, I'm all done. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, it took you 17 minutes and you stalled on it for fucking 3 months. So it's crazy what happens when you do just like super disciplined, focused of the activity that you need to do and how quickly you can get through it. And again, just writing that list on paper. I know everybody's digital these days and using AI and everything, but there's something special about writing stuff down on paper and just scratching it off. And it doesn't matter how you feel. You just got to get through that list.
Absolutely. It's that visual reminder. Look at everything I've done by the end of the day. It's easy to knock out those last couple items. So Kelly, what about yourself?
Same. I have a Remarkable, which is a digital calendar, and I keep taking it's not a size of a 8.5 by 11. It's probably, I don't know, it's probably 3/4 that size, but it's digital. You can add pages, you can send PDFs. So what I do is I walk in the office, I open up my email, and then I open up every site that I go to, like Bid on Homes, Equator, Pyramid, ResNet, Cascade, Accelerus, all the different platforms that I work on. And I go through each one and write out every day, what has to be done today. And then, if I've got meetings, like this was scheduled, it was blocked off time. Closings, I've got 2 closings this afternoon. One is happening as soon as this call is over. So as soon as it's over, I'm heading to the title company, which is fantastic. But yeah, and at the end of the day, you just check things off. You could put personal items on there. So maybe I need to go to the grocery store and pick up something for dinner or milk or cat food. I don't know. But if you put it down, it puts the thought in your head that this is something I have to do today. I mean, I need to go to the post office and buy stamps. a lot of people email stuff, but we send out a lot of power bills, water bills, and gas. We go through a lot of stamps,
Sure.
Unfortunately. But it's just writing it down, making yourself accountable every day. And even on Saturdays and Sundays, when I don't have a lot going on, I still work. I still open up my pad and I look back and go, okay, did I accomplish everything that I wanted to accomplish this week? Did I get everything done? Do I need to move something to a new day? So it's all task based. So it's just whatever works for you in your world. And I used to have a day planner, and I mean I've got them for the last 15 years. I've saved them all. I don't know why. But there's phone numbers and contacts and what did I do that day? And we had a function at the board. I'm very involved at our board. I want to look back and how was I involved in that? Okay, we're going to have another event. I'm on the affiliate council, so we do an annual crawfish boil because we have fresh crawfish down here, and I'm usually spearhead that. So I have all my notes saved, and I can go back. How many pounds of crawfish? What did I buy? So just writing things down and keeping yourself accountable is the biggest thing.
Absolutely. See, but how do you stay focused or refocus?
Yes, I mean, definitely time blocking, having a schedule with the team support. If something happens, have someone to cover for you, right? And then, but I want to focus on, if you're like me, I'm a perfection. I want to get everything done as planned. But sometimes, of course, I understand things happen. They didn't schedule that doesn't go what they are supposed to be. So I allow myself to take a day off. If something happens, I'm okay. I don't. Back days, I usually feel really bad, and then I just fell off the track. But then what I do lately is I allow myself, if something happened, it's not a good day, a productive day, I'm okay. I'll just take that day off. I'll do whatever I need to do, but then I'll refocus and come back the next day. So just by putting that into my mind, it becomes much better. Because consistency, what we're talking about, is not necessary to be every single day. If I can accomplish what I planned 90% of the time, I'm still very consistent. So just allowing myself to take a break whenever I need it, that's very important to me.
Absolutely. I've found it that if I'm ever in a funk or I can't stay focused, I plan a vacation, because I'm guaranteeing that I'm going to be busy the weekend of that vacation. And I think every realtor in here has experienced the going on vacation and all of a sudden your phone just won't stop ringing.
Absolutely.
So, so just plan a vacation and just prepare not to go. That's one thing to do. For my mindset, my reset button, my recharge, when I wake up and I'm either A, not feeling it, B, just need to find that motivation. Maryland, we are spoiled. We are in one MLS. So I know around the country and around the world, there's usually multiple MLSs that you have to be part of, but we're very spoiled here. So we only have Bright, and I'll log into Bright. I'm a big numbers and stats guy. So I'll check obviously the county stats of what's selling, what's moving, how long things are sitting. But I also selfishly look at the ranking reports, right? Hey, how good am I doing? Who's doing better than me? What do I need to do to catch number one? What do I need to do to catch number five? Wherever I'm at on that chart. And I find some fire. 8 years in the Marine Corps and another 8 years as a federal police officer. There's a lot of competition built into my soul. So it's not something that I ever look down when I don't achieve number one, but that's always that competitive drive. So that's my 30, 45 minute recharge and get back into that prospecting and grinding, following up with leads, right? So last but not least, if you could go back to either the first year that you've hit Icon or the first year that you found success, what would you do different, or what's one piece of advice you would give yourself? So, Siba, let's start with you.
Sure. I think one thing I can think of is I will definitely build a team sooner. So like I mentioned, I'm a perfectionist. I used to think that no one can help me with things. I have to do the way I want. So that basically I was stuck in it for 7 years. Not until 2023 is the first year I actually built a team, right? So I wish I had done that sooner. Because I always worry about I wouldn't find good people to work with and it will mess up my business. But I mean, it did happen at the very beginning. Like the first assistant was a virtual assistant. It wasn't that productive, but I cracked it very quickly. And then now I have amazing partners working with me. So if I go back and tell my the first year I hit ICOM, I'll say that build a team sooner, right? So yeah.
Love it. Kelly, how about yourself?
I wish I had embraced the agent attraction more at the beginning to create that passive income from residuals.
Okay.
I am working on that now. I have partnered with my sponsors, Larry White and Eric Bingle, and we have partnered with Jay Kinder. And we have an accountability call every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 to 9:30. And it is, how many agents did you talk to about coming to EXP? How many agents did you talk to about the funnel pilot program? How many agents did you do a deal with that you hung up the phone and picked up the phone immediately after and called them back and said, hey, I got a partner and we're testing this new program and this is incredible. Would you like to have 3 or 4 extra deals a month? So I really wish I had worked on agent attraction more so in the beginning, because that would have also alleviated a lot of my stress, and I could co-list my REOs and let these agents that don't have the business that I have, that need the business, get involved, learn, let me teach them, the process, co-list with them, still get a cut of the commission, which is great at the end of the day. But there's not, I'm not putting 400 miles on my truck every week going around taking pictures of houses. I think I need to start spending my time more wisely in building the team and building the organization, and then just and it's hard for me to let go. My wife has always told me that. She goes, you know more than anybody I know, and you can keep all these deals straight. I mean, I've got 60 foreclosures. I know where every one of them is. I know their status. I know and it's just crazy how I can remember all that kind of stuff. But I've got to learn to let go and teach somebody else and clone myself. And I'm in the process of doing that. I'm growing. Read a great book, Building an Empire. It was a fantastic eye-opener, but I've got 1 new agent that's onboarding next Tuesday. I've got 4 more that are thinking about onboarding, so I'm starting to grow my organization, but I wish I had done that more so in the beginning.
Get it. Absolutely. No, that's always looking for helps for those that are willing, and the ones that want to learn. Kelly, also make sure you double check that chat. There was definitely something that was about you. So if you want to
respond. I will. Sorry.
Okay. Sean, what about you? What's one thing you wish you could tell yourself 6 years ago?
I wish I would have known you can insert yourself into deals with your clients sooner, like working in with your commission or just partnering in to own more properties. We have such a unique advantage so many times to kind of squeeze in different ways. And it's been like a night and day difference as far as net worth is concerned once I started doing that. So like as real estate agents, we have the inside track to so many deals, and just learning how to present that to the investors properly, and then inserting, like I've seen people insert themselves for $0 for 20% ownership of a building. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So just understanding how much value you actually bring when you could bring deals to people, and instead of taking a commission or even with your commission, buying in.
Absolutely. No, we had one of the local rallies for the DMV area. We had one of the realtors that are out on that eastern shore, Ocean City, Maryland, for those who might know where it is. And he mentioned, he's like, we as realtors was sometimes we work and we grind for our commission check, but the investors, they're cashing the big check, and we're getting something that looks like a tip. So
are you talking about mailbox money?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's the one that opened my eyes to it too. We're sitting down. This could be another one, I guess, is getting into the rooms as quick as you possibly can, the small rooms with big people.
Yeah.
But we were sitting down at lunch, and we were just talking. Well, actually, he was talking, because if you ever get in a room with that guy, just shut up. just let him go, because he's going to give you so much. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
But that's where I got it from. And I'm like, man, looking back, I'm like, I could probably own 20 or 34 more doors had I just met this guy a few years ago and got that advice.
Yep, absolutely. I love it. Myself, if I could go back, well, I mean, I am in my first year of icon status, so it's hard to go back and say what I would have done. But if I could go back 7 years just to the young man jumping into the real estate world full time, terrified, cashing out his 401k from his government job and thinking that he's going to set the world on fire, is, you can. You're going to continue to get out of this what you put into it. Too many times throughout my career, I would be in my office for 8 hours a day thinking that was work. Looking up stats, because again, numbers driven, right? Looking up what other people are doing production wise, learning, not learning, just being there, thinking that 8 hours I spent in the office was enough. And I think it's one of my biggest things that I talk about as a recruiting tool is, yeah, your brokerage has a location, and if you're there, that's great. But what are you learning while you're there? What are you doing while you're there? Because if you're not growing or if you're not really working, then you're just wasting time. And that is something I think I did early on in my career, was I wasted a lot of time. So a lot of great information today, guys. I love being a part of this panel. Brian, I don't know if you have any bonus questions for us. I don't know how we're doing on time.
We're doing well. Does anyone out there in the audience have any questions for our panelists today? Put them in the chat box.
Let's see.
I answered the question about the funnel pilot.
Okay, perfect.
Nice.
So I'll throw out a bonus one, Brian, if we've got a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if there is one thing about EXP that you have found great value in, was eye-opening, what was something that either before you joined, since you've joined, or even now that you talk about when it comes to recruitment, is what would you tell one person watching on YouTube that's maybe not part of EXP? Why should they join?
The support system, back of the house, everything that they have to offer. No other brokerage that I know of has the support that EXP does. It's phenomenal.
I love it. I mean, brokers on call answering questions within under a minute average, right? I think is what we're up to.
Yep.
Sean, what about you?
And the ability to, cap, get to 100%, and then moving on to, icon status. And that's when you get involved in doing something like this, or go to EXPCon, which I plan on going to for my second year,
Yep.
To, get my awards. But they give back to the agents, where a lot of your big companies, they keep it for the owners. They
Sure.
don't give back to their agents. But EXP is very generous when it comes to giving back to us, who's helping to build the business, or build the brand worldwide.
Absolutely. Sean, what about you?
I actually have something that came up literally yesterday on this, which is pretty cool. So I was at the gym and I was talking with a guy. I think he's number one at Remax Western Canada right now. So the guy crushes completely, right? And he's a 10 out of 10 human being, great family guy, great person, great friend, like just all around really, really good person. And we were sitting talking, and he brought up himself. He goes, I wish one thing that my broker would stop doing is telling people that I'm going to help them. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he goes, my broker basically sells me to recruit people. Say like, oh, if you come, like you can talk to, I won't say his name, but you can talk to so-and-so, and he'll help you through, and you have questions or whatever. And he goes, I won't. He goes, I don't have time. He goes, I'm so busy with my own business. And when I'm not with my business, I'm with my family. And he keeps putting this pressure on me to help. And I thought about that, and I'm like, man, what a different culture. Because at EXP, because of the rev share and because of the stock bonuses, I've been able to reach out to anybody in any downline, and everybody's given me the time to at least answer my question, but sometimes go in depth and really help me. And this just doesn't exist at other brokerages from what I've seen. And this is like probably the number one guy, if you can imagine. And he said, I wish people would stop asking for help. And it's the opposite here.
Absolutely. I love it. Siba, what about yourself?
Yeah, for myself, I think two things. One is all the online library, because we're cloud-based and all the resources recorded and available online. That's the big help for me that's also the reason I transferred to EXP. I was with Remax back then. I was with Remax for 5 years, and I was thinking about build a team, but Remax didn't have the facility to do that. And then I explored and found out EXP has all the resources online. So if I hire someone, they're pretty much 70 to 80% self-taught, and I just need to share my experience with them for the other 20%. So that makes my job much easier to hire some new team members and train them, get them ready to the point, and they can take off. Number two is to help people. So the reason I'm in this business to want to help more people, right? So clients and also my downlines and people who wants to join EXP, the culture is great. All the resource available and the events they can go to it's phenomenal compared to all the other brokerage I know. Yeah.
100% agree with all three of you guys. I found nothing but amazement in what this company brings to the table. But what I love is it doesn't matter if you were brand new to business. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned pro or if you're setting the world on fire. There is something here for you, and there's another level to reach. And there's people who are willing to grow you to whatever your perfect ideal situation is. There are agents out there that just want to do one transaction just to say they did it. They want to do 10 transactions, 50 transactions, 100. Sean, I'm sure your goals are probably in the thousands. It doesn't matter where you are on that spectrum. Your goals are important, and there's somebody who's here who's going to motivate you, give you tips, give you tricks, and tell you this is how you can achieve it, and this is what it looks like. So that's phenomenal. So Brian, I think that's it, man.
Yeah, you guys have had an amazing panel. Thank you, Daniel, for moderating today. All of you out there in the audience, thank you for joining us. We are here every Friday. Any icons who want to sign up for our mastermind panels or ICONversations, feel free to hit me up. You all have a great day. And if you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button.
Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. You'll have a great weekend.
Brian.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great one.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, Brian, I guess we're good.
We're good.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.